I'm asked in my forever career, what does it take to be a leader? Being a leader, there's loads of different components. There's contributing, there's showing, not telling, there's leading by example. But you know what I realised one of the key ingredients to being a great leader is? I'm going to take you to look at, say, a football team, a soccer team, a baseball team, a basketball team. They literally pay a full-time team of professional cheerleaders. And the job of the cheerleader is to create amazing team spirit. It's to work up the crowd. It's to cause the excitement. It's to get everybody pumped up. And really, that's what I think that we are. If you look at all of the big leaders in our business, we are the cheerleaders. Not just the cheerleaders for our own teams, not just the cheerleaders for our countries, but for all of the teams and for the entire company. So if you want to be a great leader, you've got to add the cheer.
Passage of time, I've become increasingly intrigued by the false messages that people tell themselves. And whenever you're talking about anything, it seems that they always have a personal reason why they can't do something. And it's usually a figment of their imagination. And the reason why I'm so honed in on that is because I was exactly the same. I remember when I first looked at a business which required being able to communicate in public, that faced my biggest fear. There were two things for me personally. I was incredibly shy, and I had a childhood stammer that rendered me almost incomprehensible to anybody if I was required to absolutely have to communicate with people. But one of the things I found was if the reason for wanting to do it was strong enough, then you would overcome that. And that subsequently led to probably the biggest fear I could possibly face, which was walking out onto the O2 stage and facing a huge audience of people all at one time. And I see people now, and they constantly have these illusions of the mind, these mountains of the mind, that they see as insurmountable, and usually that's as a result of something that's happened in their past or in their childhood. And they are just delusions. They're self-delusional, because with practice and with training and with desire, almost any of those things can be overcome. And I've seen people over the years do just that. Anything from a physical handicap, I've seen people who can't hear, people who have limbs missing, people who have educational deficiencies, overcome that and be highly successful. I've also seen people who have all the equipment but waste it, and that's even a sadder thing in many ways. So when I'm talking to people, they'll usually voice at one point or another their reason, their personal reason, that makes them quake inside at the thought of doing perhaps what we do. And it's false. It's false, and one of the joys is helping them overcome it. And my mind is drawn back. There was a moment in time. We'd been doing the business for about 7 years. And we went out for a walk, and we loaned part of our house to one of our managers who wanted to do a group training. And this young lady was very, very fearful of speaking in public. She was very, very fearful of the fact that she hadn't had a good education, and she would be talking to a lot of people who were well educated. And as I walked back down the drive, I looked towards the house, and I saw her standing at the easel, speaking and illustrating her points to the people who were enthralled by what she was saying. And I have to admit, there was a lump in the throat and there was a tear in the eye, and I thought, that can't be a bad thing to be involved in, helping people to become more. Because why should they be limited? Why should they be conditioned by other people's opinions and by self-opinion that has been fostered by being taken in the wrong direction?
So Forever, it allows me time to indulge my passion for being out in nature, the great outdoors. I love bird spotting. I love going out with my binoculars, and I love hiking. Well, I worked in the city, in London, in the financial markets for 7 years. Then I set up my own business, which sadly went bust after 2.5 years, and I lost everything. My business took off pretty quickly, and it wasn't because I knew what I was doing or knew very much about the products. I was, I guess, what you call ignorance on fire. I was just really excited about the tiny bit that I knew. And I guess that excitement and that enthusiasm was infectious, and I was fortunate that quite a few people joined my team early on. If I'd stayed in a job that I would have been working from, I don't know, maybe 8 in the morning till 6, 7 o'clock at night, at least 5 days a week, the stress and the pressure that I'd have been under, working for someone else, trying to achieve, trying to move up that slippery pole of promotion, I mean, it just doesn't even bear thinking about. My life has changed out of all recognition because of my involvement with Forever. One of the things about Forever, as it is with life, is that it's always going to be a bit of a roller coaster. There's going to be good times, there's going to be bad times. And I have to say, if I'm being completely honest, there have been at least half a dozen times where I've been this close to walking away from Forever. And thank goodness I didn't, because I wouldn't know where my life would be today if I had. When the Eagle Manager Programme was rolled out, I was incredibly enthusiastic about it because I knew that there was a step between manager and chairman's bonus that we needed to fill, and the Eagle Manager does exactly that. For 6 years I've been working towards the Eagle programme, but it was only in this last year that I thought there was an opportunity, and it actually got to a point where on the last day I got a message from Marcy in the Home Office, and it was just like the most incredible emotional release, because I just thought, you know what, this is a first in Forever. It's not my recognition, it's my team recognition, because this team produced the first ever Diamond Sapphire Eagle Manager. Every year helps me to move closer towards my personal goals and my business goals. My next goal with Forever is Diamond. My team deserves to have a diamond leading them, and that's my next goal, and I'm determined to achieve that within the next few months. And I just cannot wait. Every year with Forever gets more exciting.